In this tutorial, I will walk us through how to get started with WordPress. WordPress is one of the many different blog sites that you could use for our class blog assignment. Depending on whether or not you like to use it or you prefer something else, that's completely up to you. If you're not into blogging and this is the first time you've set one up, I suggest using WordPress and following the instructions that I'm going to outline here. Let's see, I think that's it. So let me show you how to get to the blog assignment. Hopefully you've already seen this in our class syllabus. And if this is a class in the future from the fall of 2018, your syllabus will likely look a little different, but should be essentially the same in terms of having links to the assignments there in the middle. So I'm opening the blog assignment document. Again, just to show you where to find the instructions for these. I've given you a theme. We're thinking about our blogging in terms of a travel log, thinking about what we're learning about Latin America as if we were traveling throughout the region. You can either run with that or not, or you can use your blog just to reflect on the ideas and the materials and the themes that we're learning about over the course of the semester. Please keep note, or keep tabs, I should say, on the class schedule and the learning modules in Blackboard to know when a blog assignment is due. From here, you can just type in wordpress.com into your browser, or you can click this embedded link that I have in the blog instructions. And this brings you to the landing page for WordPress. What you're going to want to do if you don't already have an account, if you already have an account, you can log in, but if you don't, you click Get Started. And you will walk through the steps that you take to set up a free WordPress account. So let's see. It already has some stuff in here for me, but I'm going to use this one. I'll just use, let's see, my username will be Morgan84 because that probably hasn't been taken, and I'll choose a password. All right. So, and if you want, you can use your Google profile, depending on how comfortable you are with connecting your different accounts online. Or like I've done, you can just use an email address, choose a username, a password, and click continue. Your browser might want to save your information. I don't want it to save this because I'm not actually going to use this account. And then here you can decide what you want to name your site. So we'll call this one Travels in Latin America. We'll just say education. The primary goal. And when you click these things, the kinds of goals you have and such, that will determine the types of templates that the WordPress site will give you for your blog. So I'm not promoting a business. I want to do education training. I want to share ideas, experiences, and so on. And again, depending on how you feel about this, you can say beginner to expert with creating a website, depending on your level of expertise. We're going to call this one travel. Let's see. Let's do. So you have to give it an address that will be added in front of .wordpress.com unless you pay for it. But I don't want you to pay for it, so please don't do that. Let's try Brandon's American Studies. And hopefully, yep. All right, so again, if you want to do these extensions, you have to pay for that. So go down here to where, oops, I clicked on it. It said Brandon's Latin American Studies.wordpress.com. That was the free option. Start with free, just do free, no matter what. For the purposes of this class, you just need free. If you decide to go beyond that for your own personal use and you have more expertise, totally fine. You probably don't really need the tutorial if you're in that position. All right, so I have a site. It's been created. What I'm seeing here, though, is the what should I call it? The editing side of WordPress. Notice that it wants me to confirm my email address, so you should go through and decide kind of what you want, how you want to set this up. All of these little steps here are for setting up the blog. I'm going to go over to my email account. Notice here it says activate bmorgan384. Click to confirm now. You will need to do that, so please make sure you do that as you get started. And then, of course, it depends on how fast your internet is, how fast this is going to load. Should take me back to where I was, except it should say that I don't need to. There we go, yep. So I don't need to confirm my email address anymore. You can go through and upload a site icon, a tagline, all these kinds of things. All right, let's view site. So view site, this will show me what my site looks like. And there are ways that you can customize this. But again, if you just want to get the assignment done, go with this. What I'm going to do now is go to visit site. So please note that up here, it says wordpress.com/view, and then it has the web address for my blog that I just created. When I hit visit site, it's going to take me to the blog itself. So that's the URL that I signed up to have for free. So you'll notice here's my travels in Latin America, home, contact. There's nothing in here yet because I didn't set it up. So let's see. Oh, I'm going to accept the cookies. And again, this is just a way that people could email you. If you want to take that off of your blog, you can. I'm going to go to home. And you can click customize. So I'm not going to walk through all the customizations you can do, but let me just show you that's where you go to change the template, to change the image. You can change this first Journey Begins thing by clicking edit. So this might be a good place to put your first blog post, your introduction to the rest of us. Notice this went back, it changed the URL. Now it says wordpress.com/post with the rest of the URL there. This is what you'll see when you create your blog posts. You can either change, you can edit this photo or delete it. I'm going to delete it because I don't necessarily need it. There's a little tutorial kind of step-by-step thing that will show you what to do. So here's where you add your title. This explains where you can write your posts. I'm going to click quit because that's the kind of thing you can do on your own. But let's see my introduction to Latin America. And I have a spell checker, so hopefully you do too. That helped a lot. I'm going to say, I'm excited to begin our class this semester. So as you notice here, this is just a kind of text and image editor. It has the ability to do things like this: good company in a journey makes the way seem shorter. That is a block quote. So if I were to, it just changes the formatting into a block quote format. So again, if I did that up here, it would put it in there. If I click it again, it takes it out. Here's where you write your posts. To add images, I'm going to delete this one because I don't need it. Let's see, I'm going to put the cursor though somewhere, not block quote that, where I can add an image. So I can add media from all these things. I could add a payment button if I wanted people to buy things on my website. We're not doing that, of course. I like to do media because you can save some media on your blog site. Media from Google, you can go find things, but let me just show you what I do when I find media. So these are things that are already saved in your blog site. I'm going to open a new tab. So this is one I've already been using, but I'm going to type in images.google.com to go and do my own Google image search. And if you're not familiar with how to do this, this is helpful for a lot of different assignments that we'll have. I'm just going to type Latin America, and we'll see what comes up. Something to think about as you do this, maybe I want to do something with imperialism. So I'm going to click that. Yeah, this is fun. Something to keep in mind, and it's not something I always do, but it's something I should always do. If you click more when you do a Google search, excuse me, not more, if you click settings, tools. You see, I have to mess around with this till I figure it out. If you click tools, you click usage rights. This is how you can make sure that you find images or that you grab images online that are okay for you to use, that aren't copyrighted, that you're not going to get in trouble for putting up on your own site. So if it's labeled for reuse or labeled for non-commercial reuse, any of these are good. With modification means you have to modify it if you want to reuse it. So I'm going to click labeled for reuse, and you'll notice the results have changed. I do like this Teddy Roosevelt big stick cartoon, though, political cartoon, so I want to use that in my blog. To get it, I'm going to right-click or control-click if you're on a Mac like I am, and I'm going to not copy link address, but copy image address. If you're in a browser other than Chrome or you're not on a Mac, it might say something slightly different, but what you want is to copy the address or the URL of the image itself. So I click that. That's on my clipboard. I'm going to go over to where I'm editing my post. Remember, this is where I was going to add an image. I'm going to click the arrow to add via URL, and I'm going to paste that in there. So the thing I just copied. And you'll notice there's my image. So now I can click insert, and there it is. To insert a hyperlink, you highlight the text that you want to have a link on. This is really good to, instead of like having a works cited, especially if your information is digital, it's via website that you're using beyond the stuff that we just had for class. You can add a hyperlink, again, by highlighting there, clicking the Insert Edit Link button. It brings up this little dialog. I need to go find a website. So let's see what, that came from Wikimedia Commons. So that might not be the best site to use. Let me scroll down here and see. Wikimedia Commons is excellent for images because you know that those images are going to be open and available to use. So let me just do something else. Let's do Latin American history and just see what comes up. Just for the sake of getting some sort of source. You want to avoid Wikipedia and encyclopedia sources like Britannica wherever possible. It's usually better to use something like Oxford Research. It doesn't have to be Oxford. It doesn't have to be that academic. It could be Telesur or something else. Here we go. This is good, though. This is articles on Latin American history. So I'm just going to highlight the URL. I'm going to copy it and go back over here and paste it. I like it to open in a new tab, so I'm going to click Add Link, and there we go. So now I've written my post, and again, make sure that your posts follow the guidelines set out in the blog instructions. They need to be a certain length. You should have some hyperlinks and images, but again, I've shown you how to do all those things, and then you just write in here like a normal text editor, or a word processor, I should say. Usually this will save automatically. Sometimes it'll have a button that says save up here, so you'll want to click save if that's the case. I'm not doing a brand new post, so it says update up here. I think it usually says publish if it's a brand new post. So remember I just edited the journey begins. So you want to click publish or update, and then it says your post is updated. Something a lot of people do when they go to share their blogs is they copy this URL here. That one won't work because that will go to the editor and only you have access to that when you're signed into your blog. So what you need to do is click Visit Post, and you'll notice again the URL changed. This is the URL that I have for my blog, and this will take you to the completed post. So you can copy this and paste that into Slack or Twitter or wherever else you want to share your blog post. All right, hopefully that helps. If you have questions along the way, please don't hesitate to ask. and I look forward to reading your blogs and working with you.